This has to be one of the most massive chapters of One Punch Man we've gotten in quite a while. I mean, just the fact that we're getting another webcomic chapter before the year ends is just amazing enough, but getting this amazing of a chapter, this action-packed of a chapter, really makes it seem like One wants to bring us Christmas early this year. And I mean, yeah, he has. We get awesome power-ups from S-Class heroes, a dark secret that Zombie Man might be holding, a new team of super geniuses that are going to be entering the fight soon, and Genos continues on his rampage to find the mad cyborg. I'm super late to reviewing this chapter because I was out and having my first kid, but you guys don't care about that, you just care about this chapter, so let's get right into it. So unexpectedly, things start off with Puri Puri, prisoner of all people, as he's taking down some of the battle robots himself in order to try and protect Hammerhead and the other inmates. He's of course under the illusion that they all love him, but of course they all hate him and would stab his back at the next opportunity to do so. But what's really awesome here is that we get clear confirmation as to just how powerful Puri Puri prisoner has become. Even though he's the weakest of the S-Class, he's still now dragon level in strength, and it was completely proven after a machine god appears at the prison. It seems to be this type of machine god that just has a bunch of whips making up its body, but Puri Puri prisoner takes it out in a single punch, even though he takes a massive amount of damage doing so. Fortunately, he uses his bristle armor to protect himself, and this is when the inmates actually say verbatim that he has become dragon level in strength. Well, Puri Puri prisoner is not done, and he continues to fight battle robots, and he's actually the one to begin kind of the comeback of the heroes for this chapter. He rallies the troop in a sense and declares that this is the good side's counterattack, and as he's saying this, we get these cool panels of all the other S-Class heroes doing work at various parts of other cities. We even see Watchdog Man for a single panel as he completely destroys all these battle robots. Same goes for Pig God, who's getting hit with all these laser beams as he's eating battle robots and not being phased at all. And it even seems like Bang has come out of retirement to help join the fight because we see that he took out some battle robots around his dojo, so he's likely headed to help in whatever way he can. Unfortunately, this feels very much like the counterattack that the heroes did during the Monster Association arc, where they, kind of collectively took out Sairochi, only for them to get completely shit on like immediately afterwards by Black S, Fear Ugly, and Homeless Emperor to a certain extent. So it's likely they'll be having their moment for a bit, but then there's going to be another reveal from the bad guys, whoever they are right now, and the heroes are going to be screwed again, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it doesn't go that way, because they're pretty damn down bad as it is, you know what I mean? One of the most exciting parts of the chapter comes next though, because we then cut to Zombie Man, who's of course doing what he does best, which is get completely annihilated, but this time it's by a machine god called Eguro. And the interesting thing about this machine god is he actually reveals some of the plans of the organization. In this chapter, he offers the biggest peek behind the curtain for the organization that we've ever gotten in the series so far. First of all, he says that those battle robots that are attacking all the cities are just tools for them to use. So he's not specifically saying that they're from the organization. And considering that these are theorized to be Dr. Bofoi's robots, this seems to be a clear admission that the organization somehow hacked all the robots that Metal Knight owns and caused them to attack all the cities like they are now, and are also framing him at the exact same time. He then also explains the purpose of machine gods, which is to eliminate irregularities that obstruct their plans. They also have the role of collecting battle data and collecting other materials for modified soldiers. And what they mean by that are people that are super strong that they can take advantage of and turn into cyborgs and pretty much take full control of. And this is when we get a look into what the organization's true intentions or true goal is. More so their motivation, I guess. The machine god says that they're doing this because it's a confiscation of free will. It's like a heaven where you have nothing to worry about. So essentially they have the whole Madara Infinite Tsukiyomi idea where they think taking away everyone's free will and taking control of everyone in the world will somehow amount to some kind of world peace. We've seen this in many story tropes before where the enemy or the big bad thinks that they know better and under their control the world will be at peace now that nobody has free will and nobody can do anything that will hurt anybody else. And as is the case with most of those big bad story tropes, this is usually just an excuse to straight up take over the world. Well, the machine god then tells Zombie Man that he's going to be taken to their base in order to become a cyborg. And Zombie Man seems to go along with this and leaves with him, but it's very much apparent that it looks like he's trying to be captured on purpose so he can kind of infiltrate the base itself from within. The super interesting part to end this sequence though is that we see that Dr. Genus is watching as Zombie Man is being taken away, and he says something super mysterious. He says, "Zombie Man, even though it was too early to deploy, you didn't listen. If the symptoms from the field test test occur again, you could become a disaster yourself. If that happens, I won't hesitate to detonate the bomb buried in your skull. Don't hate me for it. So it seems like Zombie Man has definitely gotten some kind of massive power up from his training that he did with Dr. Genus and the Carnage Kabuto that we saw him fight against like way back in the webcomic. Well, not that far back, but you know, these chapters come like twice a year, so you know, it feels like a long time. But it seems that this new power up, whatever it is, seems very unstable still. And I don't know if Zombie Man's always had a bomb in his skull to be detonated by Genus, or he just put it in now just after he got this new power up.
You fail to follow my orders in any way, and I detonate the explosive device in the base of your skull.
It makes me very curious as to what it is, because Genus pointing out that Zombie Man could become a disaster himself is nothing to laugh at, and the fact that he mentions a bomb in his skull here means that it's definitely going to come into play later. Let me know what you guys think Zombie Man's new power-up is in the comments below. I'm definitely curious to hear your thoughts here. But we then move on to Child Emperor, who's flying through the cities and observing all this damage. He also has this like army swarm of robot sparrows or something that seem to be really effective in taking out large groups of these battle robots, which is pretty cool. What's more exciting than that though is that Child Emperor actually gets a call from some of his friends, and they're not just any friends. They're apparently from this group called Cram School, which is this coalition of super smart, like genius kids, seemingly all on or close to the level of Child Emperor himself, and they're insisting on helping Child Emperor out and joining the battle in some way. And we also get these funny little details on how they're like the top players in this certain RPG game. It seems like they're essentially the goats of their version of League of Legends, which is, you know, I guess something to brag about.
Oh, hey man, you also play One Punch Man?
SSR Child Emperor, battle power 240,000.
In the manga specifically, it says that the team effectively controls and supervises the world environment of Arc and Arc. They use their experimental and political play as a utopian model case that will eventually be applied to the real world. So they're pretty much just using the game to practice their real world takeover. So again, they're insisting on helping Child Emperor here, but he's telling them to stay out of this and to evacuate like everyone else. But they are all insistent on helping out in their own individual way. One's creating a battle robot army of their own. The other one's going to be pretty much casting EMPs from the sky. Another one has a mega suit much like Child Emperor's that he's going to deploy in. And the last one seems to be some kind of world-renowned hacker or something, because he found out that an AI calculated that if he takes 17 steps from there, he can hack into the enemy's main communication center, pretty much just like a team of kid super geniuses, which is kind of cool actually. But to close out the chapter, we come to Genos, who seems to have completely destroyed the base that he went to a few chapters back. But unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you look at it, Metal Knight was not there, which leaves two more laboratories for Genos to head to. Chances are the third one is where he's going to be at, because I'm sure one's going to drag this out as much as he can, because this is one of the biggest plot lines in the entire story, which I'm totally okay with, because once we finally get to the Genos versus the Mad Cyborg fight, it's just going to be that much more satisfying, you know what I mean? Super awesome action-packed chapter though. Again, I'm very excited to see specifically what Zombie Man has in store, and also the fact that we got some details revealed about the organization as well. So it seems like we're kind of gearing up to get some big reveal pretty soon. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What are your thoughts on this chapter and what's coming next? Definitely curious to see that. But you know, that does it for this video. Have an absolutely wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever, and I'll see you guys in the next video.